It's Platini versus Zidane as our panel of experts continue to discuss and debate the merits of our two French masters. Next category is team player, who embraced the team ethic and led by example, and which man was more of an individual. Once again, let's call up the Opta stats and see if they can help to shape our conversation. Similar numbers of assists for both men, and each generated almost 3 chances a game for their teammates. Zidane passed the ball more often and more accurately, and was much more willing to get out wide and put crosses into the box. So it's a tough one, this one. Lothar, as our World Cup winning captain, which of these two players led by example most?
I had in my memory, Platini had always his player behind him. And sometimes when something was not working well, I don't like what he was doing against a teammate. He was showing he's unhappy with something, and this I don't like. A team player has to motivate the teammates, and Platini was sometimes in a mood where he show he's upset.
What about Zidane? He had the skills of a luxury player, but how much did he involve his teammates in the game?
No, I think he was the ultimate team player in regards to he could win games, but also, like the stats say, going out wide, creating crosses, was just as happy creating goals than scoring goals. But I think the thing that strikes me with Zidane is that great Real Madrid team that he was at, the likes of Beckham, Roberto Carlos, Figo, they're there, but Zidane was just... They all looked up to Zidane.
And in terms of their work ethic, Gary, which of them do you think had more? Which of them contributed
You're
more?
asking me about work ethic?
Yes, you look very comfortable.
Listen, but you can't reach this level, the absolute top of the game, the upper echelons, without having a great work ethic.
What about working for the team?
Well, I mean, it was interesting to see what Lothar said about Michel being a little bit sometimes disparaging of his teammates. He's quite moody, Michel. I played golf with him once, and I remember he had a bad shot and he started smashing his club in the tree. So I thought, oh, I can see you've got a bit of a side to you. Not that Zinedine Zidane's ever done anything.
Well, yes.
He's got a mean headbutt, though. So they're both quite, in a way, temperamental, fiery, feisty individuals who really care. Yeah, but Zidane for me was he's such a divine footballer, gorgeous to watch, and a real leader.
A leader for you as well, Jermaine? Was he seen as a sort of inspiration, not just to his own teammates, but to players who were watching him?
No, I'm sure they were both leaders in their own way. It's weird when you talk about kind of like work ethic and wanting them to run around. That's not what I want from these two players. I don't want them running around crazy, chasing people down. That's what the mere mortals are for. Yeah. Let the gods of the game almost kind of go and be creative and do what they need to do, and that's what we have here. We have two players right at the top. So,
which way is the vote going to go? Gary, you're up first.
I'll go with Zizou. I think he probably just edges it over their careers.
Ryan, which of them was the better team player?
Yeah, I think I would go with Zidane. Yeah, I think just Pips Platini on team player.
I think we know which way you're going.
Yes, my vote is going to Zidane because I feel Zidane was more team player than Platini.
And Jermaine, is it going to be a clean sweep in this category?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Zidane.
Which means that it levels things up at 2-2 as Zinedine Zidane gets the point for being a team player. Now we look at how our men performed in their very biggest moments. Which man delivered when it mattered most? Well, let's take a look at the honours list. And of course, the truth is, they both delivered on the biggest stage. Platini led France to their first ever trophy in 1984. He also made it to 2 World Cup semi-finals. At club level, Platini won league titles in France and Italy and won the European Cup with Juventus. Zidane made it to 2 World Cup finals, winning 1 and scoring in both. He too won a European Championship with France. At club level, Zidane won the league in Italy and Spain, and the Champions League with Real Madrid. Ryan, fabulous achievements on the international stage and at club level. How do you split them?
Well, it's difficult to split because Platini was the leader of the team that won France's first ever trophy. So you can imagine the pressure on that team because they'd never done it. But when you do it in the World Cup, obviously it doesn't get any bigger than that. To win the World Cup and to be part of it and score a goal is huge. So they've both got arguments, but to win the World Cup and so much at club level as well is something special.
And because it was their first major trophy, was Platini's influence then arguably greater?
Well, neither of them are too shabby, are they, really? But I don't know, I don't think you can ever say the Euros edges the World Cup, even if it's your first ever win, although, you know, to win it in their own country as well. If you're talking about the big moments, there's no bigger moment than a World Cup final, and boy did he deliver. And you're playing against, you know, that Brazil team. Oh, it was a crazy final with what happened with Ronaldo and everything, but, you know, Zidane won it for them, really.
Internationally then, Lothar?
Yes, I'm the same. I agree. We speak about the big moments. Everybody has big moments with the club, with the national team, but the World Cup is something special. And for this, I think Platini in Juventus, this was a great team in Italy. And with a team like this, you will always win titles. And I think what I heard before, Zidane in Real Madrid. The big Real Madrid, the Galacticos, with Roberto Carlos, with Beckham, with Raul. He was a big star in this team, and he won the World Cup, the first World Cup for France. And he won the same, the European Championship 2 years later. And I think in this way, he had bigger moments than Platini.
Who would you want on your side, Jermaine, in the biggest moments?
Thank you. The one thing that really stands out to me here is, you know, what Platini did, obviously, for France, for being the first one, was huge. But it also put more pressure on Zidane because of the type of player that they were, both number 10s for their countries. And Zidane obviously coming through in that 98 final. And when you do it in the nature that he did, it was special. But to answer your question, Kelly, I would go with Zidane.
Gary, who are you going to go for?
Well, when it comes to big moments, they've both had many, very kind of similar in terms of club level, pretty similar in terms of international, but probably Zidane with these amazing moments, scoring finals and the headbutt. I mean, you don't get a bigger moment than that. That's probably the most memorable moment I can remember ever covering a football game.
Ryan?
Yeah, obviously both big moments, you know, for Platini still to have the record of number of goals in the European Championship is huge, but Zidane, World Cup final, Champions League finals, he turned up on the big occasion.
Lothar?
For me, same Zidane, about all the results, what he was doing, and especially the World Cup final make for me the difference.
There it is then. Zidane takes the point for the big moments. And so to our final category, which we've called Legend. This is where we decide who leaves the greatest legacy. Platini and Zidane, two French number 10s, two of history's all-time finest players. Well, it's been close so far, but it feels, Gary, as though we're at the heart of the matter here. Who has and will have the greater legacy?
Well, it's an interesting question. I mean, they've both had astounding careers. For me, on the pitch, Zidane gave a little bit more joy, a little bit more pleasure to the eye. Post-careers, both obviously hugely influential in different areas. Platini went on to, run UEFA. In terms of his legendary status, I think he let footballers down, which goes against him. So overall, they've both got great legacies. One's perhaps slightly solid.
For Zinedine Zidane, in a playing sense, he won a World Cup, but got sent off in a World Cup final, Lothar. So has that tainted his legacy slightly?
Yes. When we speak about a legend, you have to see everything complete. And sure, what he was doing 2006 in Germany in the final, nobody liked to see him. He lost control, and this is talking against Zidane.
So in terms of judging him across his whole career, how significant is his success as a coach as well, Ryan?
Oh, to go into your first job and win the Champions League, the only team to win back-to-back Champions Leagues is huge. And the pressure doesn't get any bigger than Real Madrid. But they're both obviously worthy of the name legend. They're both icons, both huge pressure on them from the countries, from their clubs. Very close because they're both such great players and then went on to do things after football as well. So leaning more towards Zidane, but it's difficult.
I'll give you another couple of seconds to do that while we talk to Jermaine about it, because Platini has these records that still exist now.
And you can't shy away from that. And they are records that will stand for a long, long time, which is why he's in the position that he's in. just thinking about that kind of Zidane headbutt and, you know, thinking it may have tarnished his career, but also, you know, from the public's point of view, he almost opened up his soul on that particular day and gave us an insight to his character, good or bad.
There was a human aspect.
There was a human aspect to Zidane at that time, and it was, you know, it was wrong and it was in the wrong moment. You know, in my mind, you know, I still see that picture of him in Paris after winning the '98 World Cup, and that outweighs what happened in that 2006 World Cup.
Time then to vote. Lothar, you get the first vote in this category. Legend, Zidane or Platini?
I vote for Zidane. Sure, we was talking about the World Cup final 2006, but I close one of my eyes for this mistake what he was doing.
Go on then, Jermaine.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Zidane as well.
Gary?
Always loved watching Zidane play, so he gets it for me.
And Ryan?
Yeah, Zidane, the ultimate legend.
The ultimate legend, Zinedine Zidane, which makes it 4-2 to Zidane. And that's it. Our panel have decided, and their judgment is that Zidane wins our battle of the French number 10s. My thanks to Ryan, Lothar, Jermaine and to Gary for joining us. The debate will go on, but what can't be disputed is that Les Bleus were blessed to have had two such magnificent players. Bye for now.